Albert Einstein once observed that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another.
Hi, and welcome to the Satori Show with your host, Amy Satori, your intuitive spiritual counselor. Amy's work centers around the energy that is in everything and everywhere. Her rare ability is to identify the energy from any source, and with the help of her guides on the other side, provides an incredibly accurate assessment of what's really going on, albeit with people living her past, pets, the human body, and her specialty, twin flame relationships. And now we're proud to announce that the show is live at the Lighthouse Bookstore every Sunday night from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So you can talk to Amy and see for yourself just how special her abilities really are. Just call 256-291-1191. So now sit back and join me, Kevin McDonald, as we present this episode of the Satori Show.
And welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Kevin McDonald. You're listening to the Satori Show, and I got Amy laughing right off the bat, so I'm very happy about that. Amy, how are you today?
I'm really great, thank you.
I'm gonna, and if for whatever reason Amy just suddenly bursts out into laughter, she is just picturing the mental image in her head that was created for us by a mutual friend. So, if
thank you for that.
So, in any event, I am excited to do the show today for a couple of reasons. The major reason is because you called me this morning because you felt driven to do this show today because of there's some specific things that we needed to talk about, and with a specific person who is having trouble connecting into the show when we're doing it live because he's from Australia, and it's hard for him to do that. But first, let's talk about everything that's going on with the show. First of all, an exciting announcement is coming Sunday. You need to listen to the show on Sunday. We have got something in the works that is just phenomenal, and you will love it. It will be really cool. You can also go to the Satori Show, brand new SatoriShow.com, and look at all the information that's there. You can see Amy's beautiful face and my ugly mug and the other folks that are involved and what's going on with the show. And also, you can still go to AmySatori.com to book a reading with Amy so that she can help you get through some of the stuff. And we're going to talk about a lot of that today. You know, Amy, I can't believe the amount of passion and uncertainty and all that stuff that's involved with the twin flame phenomenon, all the things that people are feeling. It really is an amazing thing that you have tapped into here.
Yeah, I agree completely. I'm like so flabbergasted and honored to be a part of this incredible thing that seems to be happening.
Well, and I feel sorry.
It's blowing my mind. And I want to thank my divine masculine because if it wasn't for him and how the whole thing with us happened, I would not have, delved into it like I did and been so curious and wanted to find out what the heck is going on. And then I got really thrown into it and that's what our twins do for us. They're a catalyst they kind of shove us in. They shove us off the diving board into the pool. When we're right on the edge, it's like, there you go. Now you're in it.
You have no choice, and here you are, sink or swim, baby.
Right. And they may not be conscious of it, but they definitely are there to do that, to stir up your life and get you on your life's purpose. So thank you so much if you're listening.
Well, it seems to me like more than the typical relationship, more than the typical, boy girl go out and go to coffee, and there seems to be with the entire thing that's happening to people, it's a lot deeper. It's a lot more meaningful to them. They're finding love. They're finding things that they never thought was in them. It really is truly remarkable.
Yeah. And scary on both parts. I don't know why it's so scary. It's like it's the most incredible thing that's ever happened to you, and yet they both get so scared.
Well, like I
guess
mentioned
it's like
on the
going
show,
on an exciting ride at what was I going to say? What are they called? What's the fun ride? A roller coaster. It's like
park.
yeah, it's like getting on a roller coaster. Yeah, that's the effects of a. Yeah.
It's even worse than that, Amy. It's like they were at one of the Magic Mountains that I went to. They have the free fall drop. Where have you ever done that?
Where I love it.
It's like you're going click 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 going all the way up, and then you go out to the edge and you can see nothing down there, and then you just drop and you're into it, and you are hopeful that if the thing's going to stop before you hit the ground.
Right.
And they actually I would recommend that they do this. Put a Depends dispenser right there with that, so that they could make a little extra money when you lose yourself when you're halfway down.
How much of those? Give me one of those.
Yeah, I just need some added protection. Exactly. Okay. So this phenomenon is just a really interesting thing, and there's been a gentleman who's contacted us repeatedly, and I'm not going to go through all of his posts because I think his last post sums it up really quite well. But he has been trying to get together with you, and he lives in Australia, so it makes it very difficult. And so he, after yesterday's show, he tried calling in, and he was able to do it for a brief period, but then something happened with technology, and he wasn't able to finish it. So then he was the one that sent you the message that kind of inspired you to do this particular show. So I think that we should just kind of welcome him in and see what he has to say. And his name is Howash. I don't know if that's his real name or if that's just a play name, but it's Howash. And he writes to us. Hi, Amy. Well, he writes to you. Hi, Amy. I'm sorry if I am a burden. First of all, Howash, I'd like to remind you, you're never a burden. You're our friend, and we care about you, and we want you to be well and to get the things done that you need to get done. So you're not a burden. But he was just wondering if I should ask for guidance again on your next show with you in hopes that you can answer my question on your show. I can't call as I live in Australia, and I'm going through a serious bout of confusion, almost, and if not depression. I hope you're feeling better, by the way. And I just wanted to put my mind to rest. I really do want to start planning my new life after a long, drawn-out divorce for which I've never been told why she left. I've managed to lift myself out of a rut, and this was followed by my divine feminine, who lives in America. She expressed her love and desire to be with me. I've always thought that she was my twin flame, but not being in physical contact with her has made it difficult. She was also married at the time and when we met, which was 7 years ago, but we've always been close. I showed her and her ex, as well as my ex, all due respect as I don't believe in cheating. Good for you, by the way. I'm aware that she may be only a soulmate, but as I said earlier, I feel she is my twin flame. I can't go to America for a while until I settle property and other aspects of my life, and she has to do the same as her ex has access to their children, and she's commenced a new job. We do talk almost every day, and she's raised the issue of being together, but at times lately she comes across as wanting to run. I do love her dearly, in fact, deeper than I've ever loved another. I once thought that no one could tell if someone was out there was a twin flame until I ran into this page and heard you on your show. I was guided here by Source. Much love. Can you help me?
Yeah, like I think twice in there he mentioned, I think she's my twin flame, and each time I got a glowing yes. So that should be confirmation, but never listen to anyone outside of you to tell you who your twin flame is, because that has to come from the depths of your heart and your soul. So if you know that to be true, then that can be your truth, should be your truth. So let me tune into her and see what she's feeling. And I believe you mentioned in a prior post that her name is Amy too, which is a pretty cool name.
That's right. He did mention that.
It's really funny. I always hated that name growing up, but yeah, I've grown to accept it. So
stop! It's a wonderful name.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on. Oh, it's so sad when I'm seeing. It's like she wants to be with him so bad. I saw her dropping to her knees and her arms spread out to him, like, please rescue me. It's like, I think, we started off talking about the fear that this induces. I think that was no coincidence. I think the closer you get, it's exactly like being at the edge of a cliff, ready to jump off. Your heart pounds really hard, and you're like, maybe it'll just be safer if I just turn around and go back to the car.
Exactly.
So if he's feeling that, I think that's what he's actually feeling is not that. It's never just so you guys all understand this. If you're masculine, and in this case it could be the roles could be reversed, and she could be the divine masculine, he could be the feminine. It's not actually based on sex. It's based more on the energy of the divine feminine being the chaser during the separation period, and the divine masculine being the runner, but which can balance out in union. So it no longer is runner or chaser. It's just more both of you being balanced in your feminine and masculine aspects. Just to clarify that up in case you're a gay couple or you happen to be a feminine divine masculine or something like that. So if your person is running, no matter what sex they are or what's going on, know that it is about them. It's not about you. Don't take it personally, and definitely don't think that they're gone forever. You are always on their heart. This is a bond you cannot break. This is a person that if you don't do something about this now, or they don't, it's going to torment you forever. There's no getting rid of this person out of your life. So you're kind of stuck with it. And so I would just trust. I would definitely trust that this is going to work out for you guys. It does feel like she's under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. And it feels like she is working a lot of things out. It feels like things are kind of falling apart around her. And if this sounds familiar, then you probably heard last night's show. A lot of the divine masculines are having a tower moment. She's even thinking about going out where you are. And so she's just got a lot she's thinking about. You said she has, I think, a couple of kids.
Yeah, she's got a couple of kids and recently divorced.
Can you imagine like taking a couple kids over to Australia? I don't know, but it is pretty common that the divine masculine go toward the divine feminine, wherever the divine feminine is. So that is a possibility. But since you guys are on, on talking terms, then I would say that she'll give you an indication of that soon. Right now, the divine masculine is feeling really prompted in their soul to let the divine feminine know exactly how he feels. So I bet you'll have that heartfelt conversation really soon.
Do you think that, based upon what he wrote, that he will end up in America, or because that's kind of what he was saying. But he's got property things. Let me ask you, how is his divorce settlement going to work out, and his property and all that kind of stuff? Is that all going to get resolved for him?
These are good questions. Okay, hang on a minute. Let me look. Is he coming to America? 80% chance? Is she going to Australia? Australia has more energy to it. So, it kind of seems like, I don't know, it could go either way. I just feel, okay, so let me just look at the other aspects of it. How is her divorce and everything going to go? She feels determined, and she feels like she knows she's doing the right thing right now, and she's going toward him for sure. She's just wanting to set everything up first. She wants to make sure she's got all her ducks in a row before actually kind of making a proclamation, I guess, about what she's going to be doing. And on his side, I feel there's going to be a little bit of back and forth energy and some arguing about some things, but it's going to iron out. Oh, okay. Now I just got an indication that he is going to, at some point, it's all going to work itself out, and he's going to jump. He's going to jump and come to the U.S. Oh, I just saw the word passport. So I think when he is ready and it has all his whatever he needs to have ready to come to the U.S., whenever he's got that ready, it's like he just bounces. But they may end up going back to Australia. I'm not sure. It just feels like it could go either way. I feel like it's pretty open. But I definitely feel like they're both determined to be with each other.
Oh, that's awesome. And how do the kids play into it? We don't have any idea how old they are, but do the kids end up liking him? Do they all get married and live happily ever after? I guess is my question.
Yeah. It's funny because I already feel like an excitement toward him. I don't know. I would suspect that they already know who he is or already knows of him. They feel like they have compassion for their mom and they really want her to be happy. So there's definitely an eager anticipation feeling of it. I feel like all the worry and stuff is on the mom's side, but I feel like the kids are ready for a new adventure and they're ready to go. They're kind of encouraging her. And they're kind of like, let's start a new life. Let's be fresh and new and go on an adventure. So that's a really good place for the kids to be. Just complete cooperation and even being the ones kind of pulling her forward and helping her not stress so much about it, but just follow her heart.
You know, Amy, that brings up a really interesting point that I mentioned yesterday, and I'd like to explore with you a little bit more. And this has to do with the gentleman we've just been talking about, but also everyone else. And that is on yesterday's show, I said it's kind of like when you find the perfect person, and understanding that nobody is perfect, but the perfect person for you, that you think that you will love them more than anything else and more than life itself, that you would die for them. But your inner self doesn't allow you to go for it because of the fear of rejection. Help us, again, to understand how to get past that fear of rejection and just trust and jump.
Okay. Let me just go within for this, because my automatic answer is that nature pushes you. Nature makes that happen. We may even try to go in a totally different direction. We may just say, well, I'm way too scared of that, so I'm just going to go over here. And then you'll go to do that, and your plans will totally fail. Yeah. So it's like the universe has its way of working destiny out, working fate out, really putting them on your heart, making you miss them like crazy, making you just almost call them, almost text them, and then put the phone down. But then you pick it up again Then you think about them. Then you pray for them, and then you say, then you talk to their higher self. So, these things that are destined to be, if we would just not resist them, are designed to bring us our greatest joy and fulfillment. So when you look at it that way, how about in turning that feeling of fear into excitement? That's just, fear is another aspect of excitement. They're the same emotion, only one is negative and the other's positive. So just take that same feeling and turn it around to, you're in the line, you've been standing in line for 2 hours, now you're about to get in, and you can't turn back now. So why not get excited and jump in? So, but let me check in intuitively for a moment to see if there's anything that that my guides and everybody else's guides kind of want to collectively say to me to help this part out. Oh, they said it's like giving birth. You gotta kind of go through the pain. You got to go through the pain of it to really appreciate what you have on the other side of it. So part of the process, part of this is necessary. I mean, this part is necessary in order to give birth to the new you and the new us, the new togetherness, the new team. If it wasn't so hard to do it, then it would be like every other relationship, and it would just be something that would be easier to throw away. But with this kind of relationship, it weighs heavy on your heart and will help you to appreciate one another more. Let me see what else they might say. Hang on. Meditation, they say, will help, because during meditation you also get divine guidance. You'll get instructions. You'll be prompted. Listen to the promptings of your heart. If you're feeling your chest pounding really hard or your heart pounding really hard in your chest and you're feeling a push, don't resist that. Do it. Step out on stage if you're feeling pushed out there. It's exhilarating, they said. It'll be exhilarating. Trust. Trust in, don't necessarily put your trust in that person or even in the situation or even in the end result of the situation, but trust that you're being guided by life and that there must be good on the other end of it if life is trying to get you to do this so badly. Yeah.
That's really interesting. I'd like to, for our audience, which is, by the way, is growing all the time, and more people are finding out about us. I would like to explore what you just did there, just a little bit, so that to add some clarity to it. What you are and who you are is an incredible psychic talent. You talk to your guides on the other side. We call it the Council of 60. Celeste is the spokesperson for the Council of 60. And they come up with a consensus view, and then Celeste gives it to you. Am I correct?
Yeah. Well, they're not called the Council of 60, but they just happen to be a Council of 60 around a white oval table in a white room. And Celeste is the ambassador. Yeah, and she's the ambassador and for the group, and she is kind of their spokesperson, and she is a part of me. And so she speaks through me and channels through me, and most commonly she comes through me with light language. That's kind of how I met her. Is when I started speaking light language, I felt like this very loving, warm embrace by this feminine presence, and I didn't know who it was, and then it got revealed to me, and then I investigated further into it, and I found out that it's a council that's designed to kind of balance the feminine and masculine energies of our earth. So they chose me because I was unbiased and open-minded enough to hear their message of love, and they knew that I would resonate with the love, peace, and acceptance that they represent, and they knew that I could really help balance out these energies for what's needed on the planet at this time. So it's an honor to be able to work with Celeste. She's really amazing. She loves that I'm saying this. She's so sweet. She's just such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful being. And the council is really also honored, and they're showing me that they're also very, very happy that they have chosen me as well. So everybody's in agreement, and we're all happy to be with each other.
Well, and I'll
if only you guys could see what I could see right now. It's really heartwarming.
Describe it for us, would you please?
They're laughing at me now. Now you got to describe us. There a lot of them, if not most of them, are, I don't know the definition of a starseed, but I would say probably starseeds. I mean, they're definitely extraterrestrials, but they don't necessarily look like the aliens that you would normally see. And I work with a lot of angels as well, and I actually have an army of dragons I work with as well. So, and there are so many beings, like those are just a few. And so this council, though, they're all wearing white for the most part. Some beings, like I see some that are green and some that are blue, but most of them white. And there's a man who looks like a wise, kind of a wise man from Jesus's time. And when I was talking about, he's the one that's the most like emotionally expressive from what I was seeing of the council a minute ago when I was describing them. And he had his hand on his heart and his head was bowed and he was smiling. And if you guys have ever seen some of these guys from India that just laugh and they have that loving smile and they don't take anything seriously. They just believe life is so beautiful and they're so free, and it just warms your heart to see that beautiful smile. That's what these beings are exuding, and they're just very, very pleased about what's happening with this show and through me. So they're really they're very touched, and they're very, and so is she. She's like stepping in to smile and show her approval. She almost feels very motherly. She's not my mother, but she said, yes, I am. In a way, I am. But she's also me, and she's also my sister, and she's also, she has many different hats, and she's putting on all these different hats to be funny.
Well, and if people want to find out more about Celeste and what she does, I would encourage them to go back into the archives and listen to the show where
she's like tap dancing, to see what she does. These guys are so funny, I'm telling you.
Well, they understand that this is a game, and this is not as serious as we all tend to make it. This is a lot of fun to be.
Whenever I am having any kind of a hard time at all, they are cracking up, and I look at them. Like, I don't appreciate this. I know where you're coming from, and I know why you're laughing your butts off, but it is not funny to me in this moment. And then they'll cover their mouths, and they'll still be laughing. So, yeah, my guides are amazing, really amazing beings.
Well, that brings up
impress upon me.
Oh, I was just going to say that brings up an interesting question. Do they have butts to laugh off?
Most of them, no. Not butts like we have, or they may look like them, sort of, but no, they don't. They don't usually have to eliminate like we do. Not that we need to get into those details, but they've evolved past that need for a digestive system and all that kind of stuff. They're more energetic beings.
They are spirits, after all. So, but I was just
Actually, it's kind of, these beings could very well appear in the physical right in front of you. So they have the ability to manifest in the physical. So they're very real. They just appear to me, from my purposes as energetic beings, but they are very real, and I do feel they're very alive at this time. They're very much wherever they are, and I feel like they're on some kind of a star or a planet somewhere, very detached from here, but they are very much alive, and they're able to telepathically communicate with me and convey, the picture of them. It's like a conference call, a video conference call. It's pretty interesting.
Now,
and I can't see with complete clarity.
Oh, go ahead.
It's kind of it's like when you have a memory, it's like that. So it's not with like total complete clarity, but you get the gist of what they're conveying. I don't see the wrinkles on their faces or anything by any means, but I get, like I see them flash a smile, and I see them touch their heart, and I see them nod, and I see, I see all that. I see what I need to see.
So now, I was going to ask you, is this council different than our folks on the other side, or are they part of the same collective?
It depends on the intention, I suppose. There are those that are dedicated to knowledge. There are those that are dedicated to just pure manifestation. And they gather to help us with whatever our intention is set to. Mine just happens to be of the same resonance as theirs. Seems to be of the same frequency as theirs, so we are a good match. Because my aim is to help people be free of guilt and shame and judgment. Because I was stuck in that for so long in my life. And it was miserable and a very unhappy place to be. And I know that all it takes is the change of a thought or a thought pattern or realizing who you truly are to transform into the real being that you are at your core. So being that I've had the privilege of being enlightened years ago, I've really had a pretty unique perspective as to what we're capable of. And I hope to help people rise above their personalities and their egos and see what's truly capable for them, what they're capable of, how much power they have, how we truly are designed in the image of our Creator, and we can create anything we want. We're co-creators, all of us. So what do you want to co-create? Do you want to co-create fear and misery and sadness and despair? Or do you want to co-create a new paradise, a new earth, a new heaven on earth, everyone getting along? Some people have a vision of maybe if we all get along, it would be boring, or maybe if we all get along, it would be, whatever image, maybe we won't have sex anymore, and sex is rather enjoyable. Maybe we won't eat food anymore, and I really love food. So there's all these questions, but it's like the universe, there's this intelligence that knows what we love and knows us to our core, knows us better than we even know ourselves. And if we can quiet our minds and just be in that space of presence and that knowingness of who we truly are, then those things are gravitating toward us, and those things will not be ignored. You will be satisfied. It's not like the Matrix, where when you find out the truth, all of a sudden you're doomed and you're in this really ugly land that's in total despair. It's like the truth is actually heaven. When you realize the truth is actually a good pill to swallow, it's not this big ugly world. There are some ugly truths in this world, yes, but they don't necessarily have to be something that handicaps us or that we have to look at in a miserable way or to feel like a victim about. They are things that we can rise above and become powerful leaders to rise up against, or to, in a peaceful way, like Gandhi, or to make a difference with. But I lost my train of thought.
Well, and see, that I was going to mention, by the way, that one of the reasons that they like to work with you so much is you have a horrible memory, and you don't remember some of the things that were in your existence before, so you are an open channel. And it's wonderful to watch you work because you're just open to the process. It really is pretty remarkable to watch you do what you do.
My heart and my mind are completely open, just completely, and that's what's needed at this time. And I'm also willing to stand up against injustices, and I'm willing to speak the truth no matter how hard it is to hear. So it's a good combination. I mean, if I were them, I'd want to use me too. I'd want to use anybody who's willing to put themselves out there and be vulnerable in such a way, speak publicly to help people get empowered.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I was scared to do this. I mean, I was scared to do this. There's an element of fear I had to overcome.
I made you.
But I'm here.
Because yes, you are, and you are a very powerful being now. There wasn't always the case. And there was a long period of time when you doubted who you were. You doubted your gifts, and you doubted your. You didn't doubt your intention. Your intention has always been to be good, but you really weren't sure if this was going to be your role, and it has become your role because as we continue to do these and we continue to grow, it becomes more and more apparent because you're the one that has put yourself out there. I mean, I am working with you on this podcast, but I don't put myself out there very much, and I'm kind of shielded from some of the things and the slings and arrows of what other people might say. And you are front and center and are out there, and I applaud your courage for doing what you do.
Thank you.
It really is pretty remarkable.
Well, I just thought I'd point out too that I came to that point that we talked about at the beginning of the show, where I had to cross that threshold. My heart was beating fast, and you were trying to shove me out on the stage, and I was digging in my heels a bit. But I knew it was my destiny. I knew that I had to do this. And just like all of you who are listening right now, you are being called into this. Whatever you're being called into, I know you're listening to this podcast because there is something you are being pulled to, or pushed to, whatever that is. So once you get to the other side of it, you'll be glad you did, because when you start stepping into your element, you just feel this life force energy just fill you up and kind of animate you, and you just are led quite naturally and easily, like all these people who've come together to support the podcast, and the callers and the listeners, and everybody just starts gravitating toward a cause such as this when you're following your heart and you're following your dreams, and you're willing to move past that fear and step into what you were kind of designed to do. So I encourage all of you to do the same.
Absolutely. I have an interesting scenario I'd like to paint for everybody, and it is being on stage, and you decide at one point, okay, this is the direction that I'm going to take. I would like to be an actor in a play. So you go and you audition, and you get the part. And then you study your lines, you go and you learn all the blocking, and you do all the things to prepare for what you're going to be doing. But there's a moment, there's a time. You're in character, you're in costume, the curtain is closed. You can hear 300 people on the other side of that curtain that are all in anticipation of that curtain opening and you being on stage. And there's a moment right before the curtain opens when you have the opportunity to either run like hell because it's scaring you to death,
yeah,
or because you've prepared for this, you've worked for it. You know your stuff and you're confident in it, that when the curtain opens, it just unfolds. And it unfolds in a beautiful way. And that's very much the walk that we are on, is that we are prepared for it. We are preparing for it. And then when the time for the curtain to open, we either run or we stand in our power. And that's what you do so well. You stand in your power.
I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. And that's all we can do.
That's it. And it's always a journey, and it's continuing. It's a journey that you continue to go down, and it's something that's just beautiful. Now, I would like to return to somebody that was listening to the show yesterday and didn't get a chance to get on to talk about her twin flame issues. Can we talk about that real quick?
Please.
We're talking about Shelby, and Shelby listened to the show, but she was a little shy. She was shy and didn't want to come on and talk on the air. But she does have a couple of questions for you. And so I thought that I'd take the opportunity to do that now. Amy, is there any way you can tell me if I've met my twin flame? I don't know what to feel half the time. That seems to be a real common thing. And then she adds, his first name is Austin. Just curious. We've had quite the experiences together. And after learning of twin flames, it all made sense. Thank you. I love listening to your podcast, but can you tell Shelby, is Austin the one?
Congratulations, Shelby. It's a twin.
She just gave birth to a twin.
Yep. Yeah, he feels like a twin to me. He definitely... It's definitely reciprocated too, and I know that's confusing because of the process they go through. And let me feel into this for just a moment. Oh, well, I asked like where you guys are on the journey. I actually saw you guys holding hands. So either you just got to that point where you guys have told each other how you feel about each other, or you're about to. Ooh, you're about to. I just felt you getting all nervous from hearing that. So it hasn't happened yet, but it's about to. It's very sweet, the energy between the two of you. It feels like, wow, you have called him into being a better man in terms of how he sees himself right now. He's really grateful he's met you, and something has inspired him to be bigger, bolder, braver, to step into his power like he always knew that he could. He always knew he could be this kind of man. And because of what he's feeling for you, and gosh, I feel so many butterflies and anxiety, and I just saw like him bending over like he was nauseous. Which is very common right now. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. I was even nauseous just before the show. I was like, oh my gosh, what is my twin going through? I feel so nauseous right now. So a lot of the masculines are feeling this way, and they're just making some really huge decisions, because once they decide the life they want, it means that they have to put an ending to a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things. Their life almost has to fall apart as they know it, and then they have to like reconstruct it in a way that really supports them best or better than it ever has. It's like, look, this is the real me, and this is how you're going to accept me as I am, or you're not going to be in my life. You know, and you're not good for me. You can stick around. You're no longer good for me. You have deceived me. I'm done with this. You are not good for me, and we're arguing all the time, and, you know, I love you, but this is not for me. So they're just going through a lot. I don't really feel like that he's in a relationship, but I do feel his nervousness and excitement at the same time. So I do feel like this is really great. I do feel like he's stepping into a leadership role for you, and is going to come, he's going to come take your hand. I don't even want to tell you. Well, maybe they want me to tell you because I'm seeing it, but I'm just like, I'm so reluctant to say things like this because I hate getting people's hopes up. I totally saw him taking your hand and getting down on his knee. I'm not promising a proposal or anything like that. I'm just saying that must be on his mind to be coming to me now. My guides don't tell me things that you're not supposed to hear, and maybe you're supposed to somehow get prepared and like get your life in order and get some things in order, because he's thinking quite seriously of you. This isn't just some cute little crush that's going to be, here today, gone tomorrow. Once he's in your life, it's going to be, you guys are going to get serious. So maybe just prepare. He feels nothing but good, except for the nauseous part. And they're showing me him like rolling around in the bed, like flailing around, like ah. So he's going through some kind of a struggle, but just know that the growing pains that he is experiencing right now are making him into like He-Man. When he does come to take your hand, he's going to be like hubba. You're going to be very, very turned on by his leadership and his gumption and his courage and his oh gosh, what would be another word for this that I'm seeing? I don't know. His straight. Gosh, I like this energy. It's like I can't even describe it, except it's like very straightforward, very passionate, and very sexy, and you will just about melt. So, yeah, congratulations again. It feels really beautiful. No wonder you're freaking out. I would be too.
Yes, indeed. Well, down, girl, down.
And if you can, I would love for you to call in and give me an update as to what's going on with that situation. When he does come to you and you guys do have this great talk, I would love to hear how it went.
Oh, awesome. So, and there is another concept or another comment and a concept that I'd like to mention to you, and that is this. Kathy writes to us, and she says, I was talking on the phone with who I think is my twin while staring at his picture. I then felt and saw little waves in the air around me. They looked real, but at the same time, fake. Has this happened to anybody else? Amy, is this a common thing that people go through?
Seeing waves? I've never heard of it.
But
okay. That doesn't mean other people aren't experiencing it. Some of the listeners right now may have seen that and know what that is. But let me tune into it and see. It kind of feels like she was I'm getting the word reverberation. So it's kind of, it's something between you and him, and it's bouncing off of him, coming back to you like amplified. It's like a reciprocating energy. It kind of reminds me of when you send out a blessing to someone and they're also blessing you, it like amplifies. Actually, it doesn't even take them blessing you back. But if you send out a blessing, it amplifies back to you. So you might be blessing him, and what you're seeing is that wave is like it coming back to you bigger. So continue to bless him. That never hurts. In terms of him being your twin, I'm not so sure. I don't get a really solid answer on that. I don't get like some of the indications that I usually get, but don't be discouraged, because I definitely don't feel like he's a karmic. If anything, I don't know. Let me just look at his energy with you. Hang on. He's dealing with some negativity, it looks like, and it's the weirdest thing, because it looks like he's super tall and black, and you're like bright next to him, and you're shorter. So the black usually represents negativity, and he looks real skinny like a stick. So all of this is like symbolic of how he's feeling. And you guys just aren't on the same page right now is the way that I would put that for now. And so I want to move the energy around for just a moment and see if anything changes it. Okay. He definitely becomes more flexible. He's still like a black skinny stick, but he becomes like a wobbly black skinny stick if you get playful with him. And if you kind of become kind of like fairy-like in your interactions with him, kind of like giggly, fun, silly, no big deal, like that type of energy. But yeah, it almost feels like there's something about him that's really stuck in his ways right now. I just got a stick in the mud. Like in some ways in his life, he's being a stick in the mud, and he's stuck in his old ways. Does he come out of this? Yes, he does. It's just going to be a matter of time. Just give it. I hate telling people that. Oh my gosh, so many of these feminists have been so patient for so long already. It's like, don't tell me it's going to take more time. But these guys can make incredible changes overnight. You wouldn't even believe the things I've seen. These men from one day to another can be absolute opposites of what they were the day before, because they had some kind of major epiphany or breakthrough that really helped them to step into their power and to see the truth. It's like the scales were taken off their eyes, and all of a sudden, wow, they can see the truth. So he does have the capability to change very rapidly overnight. Just right now, he feels pretty darn stubborn and unwilling. But I definitely see him opening up in the future. And you're really going to meet him in a childlike place. In terms of that's where you guys have your common ground, is being silly and playful. So when you guys get back to that place where you can just kind of be light and silly, it's really gonna bond you back again and get you guys kind of trusting each other again. And I don't know what's caused him to go into this space, but just trust that it's a natural process of what he has to go through to step into his element. And let's see, at that point, it feels like he just needs to, I am getting some indicators now that he could be a twin in the future. So it's kind of like he has the potential to be your twin. I've never actually said this before to anybody. He has the potential to be your twin. And I've always said, though, that people kind of graduate to the level of being a twin. So it kind of feels like he's not quite there yet, but he will be coming into that. And if I were to give you a time frame, I'd see you're going to see dramatic change in about 2 months. So that's not too long of a wait, as eager as you might be. But in about 2 months, you're going to feel kind of a breath of fresh air. You're going to get some truth from him. You're going to get some confirmation. You're going to get something that sets you really at ease and helps you to go, oh, okay, I wasn't crazy after all. So you can look forward to that. And there'll be another shift in about 4 months after that 2 month mark. At about the 4 month mark, you guys might be taking it to another level of commitment somehow. So I do feel like it's going to be positive. You just got to let him go through this real stubborn streak. Let him do what he's got to do. He'll work it out, and he'll come to you, is what I'm getting.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
hey, it's 111.
Awesome. It's
111. There's confirmation. There you go, girl. Yeah. And it's 611. It's the 11th at 111. So cool. Oh, I
yes,
just love the signs.
And as we, well, speaking of which, I'm looking at the Twin Flame Forum, and Howish, who was the person that we started the show with, he posted up, and in one of our previous shows, we talked about unicorns, and you see unicorns all the time. He posted a picture of, he posted a picture of 2 unicorns.
Oh my gosh!
With the caption that he wrote here, and let me know how you feel about this. True love is when you take away the feeling, the passion, the romance, and all other material desires, and you realize that you still love the person.
Aww.
And it's a picture of 2 unicorns looking at each other.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Some people would think that's so corny, but I love it. It's so beautiful. And it really rings true for me because I do believe me and my masculine are unicorns for sure. We definitely both embody that unicorn energy. And unicorns have just become increasingly popular since I've been talking about it on the show. Have you noticed? I've been seeing it like everywhere now. I love it. I hope I was a part of that becoming a popular thing.
I hope so too.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that unicorn post. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, because I was pretty sure you hadn't seen that, but it's pretty intense and pretty incredible. So, Amy, we need to wrap up this we need to wrap up this podcast, but I would love for you to give us a light language blessing around the idea of coming into your power and finding your love and finding your twin flame so that then you can live your life to your fullest extent. Can you give us a blessing around that?
Yeah, and around crossing that threshold and just doing it. All right. Asha ama kainta ala bronna tateka hala inna ko jon sambatinta ala ho jon sonte kinam ai la kanataina ha sho sona pakinta tela andate sa sho sana bikinta sana hana he na e la pokonsa ala shase na kapai eta na bola la bona tata na ketan asha se tsa na ke kala ponat ala shase na ka e la borona tapet sina ka e salabona.
And that's a blessing from the other side. Amy, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap this podcast up?
Yeah, the image that I got was of like all the twins jumping, and they were in the sky like a group of skydivers holding hands. It was like all these twins jumped, and they were all caught by their parachutes, and then they were shown all the support that they had. And then they were like, even if the parachute failed, there is a net below you that will always catch you. So have no fear, because fear isn't real.
Well done. Well done. And I want to remind everybody that to listen in on Sunday night because we have an important announcement to make, and it really is awesome. You guys will just, your jaw will just drop. And with that, go to amysatori.com, book a session with her. She's the real deal. She can really make you deal with what's going on with you so that you can become who you are really supposed to be. And just remember, forever trust in who you really are, and then nothing else matters. We'll see you next time on The Satori Show.
You've been listening to The Satori Show. Please visit Amy's website, www.amysatori.com, to find out more about this incredible talent. The views expressed during this podcast are those of the host, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of management or the owners of this podcast. What you need to know is that Amy is a wonderful teacher, guide, and communicator for the unseen world. What she does not pretend to be is a doctor, fortune teller, seer of world events, or predictor of what is to come. What Amy presents is real, based on her understanding of the world and communication with that unseen world. As always, you're free to decide for yourself as to what to believe. Regardless, we love and accept you completely just as you are. And thanks again for listening to The Satori Show.